Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another windy one out here in the Pacific Northwest with lots of rain. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. Usually, I tell you whether or not you should be pulling, but instead, I'm going to tell you why I'm going to be pulling for Elafikelas. Let's go ahead and dig in. Now, I feel like I've said this multiple times, but Elafikelas is one of the best espers in the game, in my opinion. It's only going to cost 10k Visior to pull him on his guaranteed banner. So I don't see why, if you have the Visior, if you're planning on pulling a Earth unit or using an Earth unit in the future, why you wouldn't pull for him. If you're somebody who's excited for Final Fantasy 15, if you're excited to use Noctis in your composition, his vision card is definitely a must-have, and he's also the reason that I told people not to pull on the previous Halloween vision card. Now, the Halloween vision card, when it came out, is a pretty good evasion, individual evasion unit vision card. It gives agility up, but the problem is Elafikelas gives agility up as well. They're not going to mesh very well, and when you're looking at a composition or a team, most of the time you're going to be setting the Elafikelas vision card and evasion vision card and the upcoming Final Fantasy 15 vision card, which we'll be talking about as well. In terms of the stats, it's everything you would expect. High HP, high attack, and agility 3. Gives Maneater plus 10, HP plus 5% for the individual unit. Single target resistance 20, agility plus 8%. And while it's not as much agility as the Halloween vision card, I still think having single target resistance is a lot more valuable than having the plus spirit that is on the Halloween vision card. Now, finally, it does give party-wide, once it's fully maxed out, Pierce attack plus 35 for Earth units. This is, of course, really viable for a couple of different reasons. Of course, we have, situations raid-wise, right, coming up where, you have units like Murmur who have access to Pierce attacks, but you also have Noctis who actually has access to Pierce attacks. And Noctis having access to Pierce attacks is actually something really important. You see here, the reason this is important, Noctis's Pierce attack is AoE, it's a 100% hit chance attack, and it decreases CT 15x for the targets. It's his only, as far as I can tell here, 100% hit attack. So he is going to be using it when he goes up against evasive units. And that does mean you are going to get some use out of that Pierce attack for more than just Oberon. And even if you just had Oberon in the party, that Pierce attack plus 35 would absolutely be worth it. Now, I did mention that there's going to, of course, be the Final Fantasy 15 vision card running with this. And I do want to emphasize this because I think a lot of people, especially if you're running guild battle compositions, if you're running arena and you're trying to be competitive, you do not have 5 vision card slots to set. And I think this vision card, the Final Fantasy 15 vision card releasing after Elafikelas, is going to pair extremely well with Elafikelas and is a must-have. This is actually the reason that I really do think that in terms of Oberon's Elemental Spear, you should also be getting the critical hit rate Elemental Spear. I know a lot of people are saying Oberon is attack starved and he really needs to, get that extra attack from the assault version. Honestly, I'm going to run both, but really, you're getting, with the Final Fantasy 15 vision card, you're getting single individual unit Earth attack plus 10, HP plus 5%. And the really big part is party-wide, you're getting plus 18% dexterity, you're getting plus 50% attack, and party-wide, you're getting 20% magic resistance. So that increased dexterity is going to contribute to being able to land critical hits in the party. That attack plus 50% is absolutely going to help the quote-unquote attack-starved Oberon, and I just think it's going to kind of synergize really well and is an excellent reason, especially if you're planning on pulling for Noctis, to kind of plan out your vision cards ahead of time. And honestly, it all kind of comes back to Elafikelas, right? Elafikelas is the vision card that's kind of the start of all this. Absolutely, you can run, you know, GL Cezanne or Pumpkin Spice Frederica right now, right? And you can do a whole bunch of things and shenanigans with evasion. But when we get to the Earth Brawler composition that is going to be Noctis, that is going to be Oberon, right? We may see evasion kind of taking off a little bit in exchange for a more brawler-esque Earth composition in the future. And not to mention a more powerful, I would say, attack hitting composition as well. Now, all of this is, of course, kind of coinciding with the Elafikelas Esper, which I have talked about multiple times by this point. But of course, Agility 19, not many Espers, Bahamut Odin. People wanted me to point out Shiva because I keep not mentioning Shiva. And that's probably because I don't use Shiva very much because I don't like her ability board. But Agility 19, Dex 71, so pretty high dexterity. Not only all of that, his Esper does give disable resistance on top of everything else. Like, these are all reasons to pull and to use Elafikelas. Then we get into his ability board here. And of course, with Igaion, right, I'll actually make the board a little bit bigger here, just so that you can see it here. Most people are going to go for this attack percentage up. They're going to go for this earth attack up. Of course, that's going to make sense. If you're going up against Igaion, you're going to get this lightning killer, and all of a sudden you're going to have a 50% mod on the Igaion raid, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. Pair that with some of the other Espers that might have machine killer, and you're going to be good for business. I actually do think that, you know, the Pierce attack nodes are pretty good to grab down here. I think you could also make an argument nowadays to go for earth resistance with the amount of earth units that you are going up against, whether it's going to be GL Cezanne compositions or what have you. I do think, you know, you could absolutely make a valid case for adding more earth resistance on an individual unit, especially a brawler unit like Oberon. You know, I also like that there's missile resistance on this Esper, right? With the dominance of Jaden. And finally, we do have critical damage as well up on the upper end. So you are going to be able to invest in a critical build eventually if that's the direction you want to take it. If you're really wanting to kind of max out the damage potential for the Earth unit that's wielding this, you would absolutely do something like, you know, take off Earth resistance here. Maybe something like this, if you could pull it off. This would give a 40 plus 9, so it would give a 49 mod on an Esper, which is really, you know, high up there in terms of mods that could potentially maximize your damage. So all of those kind of, you know, capabilities and power levels are all kind of very flexible. And not only are they flexible, but Elafikelas is flexible, right? You don't have to get Pierce Attack. Pierce Attack is only plus 15 on his Esper board. He's a great Esper for any Earth unit because he has plus attack, he has plus Earth attack, and he can invest in either the resistance, he can invest in the missile resistance, which missile is really dominant right now, or of course he can go for that critical damage. So I just think universally, Elafikelas, whether he is in his vision card form or in his Esper form, is going to be a must-have dominant Earth Esper. And this is in a time where we don't really have a very powerful Earth Esper. I would say, you know, we arguably don't even have a very powerful Pierce Esper right now. And I mean, even with Elafikelas here, I mean, yes, he's technically a Pierce Esper, but you know, that's not what makes him strong. He only has plus 15 Pierce attack, which is the same as any other Pierce Esper right now. So there's that to consider as well when you are thinking about this. Overall, though, that's kind of why I'm going to pull for him. I am planning on pulling for Noctis. So, of course, running an Earth Brawler composition, running an Earth Dragoon is kind of something I'm looking forward to. I always think, like, right now when I'm thinking about the future and kind of the power level of Oberon, I think about the tournament that we were watching on the JP side, and there was a composition that involved Oberon and Black Rose Helena. And what happened was Black Rose Helena kind of landed her AoE, and then Oberon went in there and just kind of like the combination of both of their AoEs, like Oberon's LB and Black Rose's Helena's LB, literally, or not her LB, I'm pretty sure it was just regular attack. I'm not 100% sure. But it literally just wiped out the enemy team. Like, it just obliterated them. And so that's what I'm kind of leaning into. Oberon is definitely still relevant on the JP side right now. You know, they do get other wind units. They're going to get Joom here in the near future. But you know what? Like, Joom is a tank. She's a wind tank. And there was like one composition in the tournament that ran like Leela, Joom, and I believe it was Corwell actually. And you know, the composition that ran Joom without the wind team actually did better than the mono wind team that was running Joom. So I'm not too worried about a hard counter to Oberon unless we see something in Christmas units that's going to be revealed as like a global exclusive or a Christmas exclusive wind unit. I think we're going to be in the clear to both invest in Elafikelas and invest in Oberon for the near foreseeable future. Anyway, everybody, hope you guys liked this video. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Hope you'll see me on stream tonight. Of course, we are going to pull for Elafikelas, and have a great rest of your day, everybody. See you later.